Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So guys, in this video we are going to learn how to build a CRUD application using React and your Laravel application. Okay, so guys, we are going to insert the data, update the data using Laravel API with the ReactJS application. So guys, let's get started. So first let's go to a Laravel and install this first. So let's click on documentation, and we are at the latest version, that is 8x. Let's install this. So install via composer, let's click on this, and here guys, make sure you have already installed your composer. Let's move back to a, so I'm using XAMPP server over here, and open your command prompt. I have installed git bash, so I'm using git bash over here. Let's paste the command and tell over here Laravel API. So we are using Laravel project for API purpose. Okay, so guys, let's just wait for this to get installed successfully. Perfect. So guys, we have successfully installed our Laravel application, and now let's close this terminal and let's go inside this Laravel app and right click and open your git bash. So if you don't have git bash, just open your command prompt and follow the path of your project, and now hit php artisan serve, hit enter, and your server is started. So let's go and browse that. Okay, hit enter. So this is our project guys. So guys, now we have successfully installed Laravel and we have run the application. And now guys, let us install our React. Okay, so let's create a React project. Let's get back and go back one step, and over here open your git bash or your terminal. Let's go to the doc and start with the document over here. Create a new React app. So to create a new React app, you need one Node.js and npm to be installed before first only, and the version should be above this, so 10.16 and 5.6, then only you can create your React app. So let's copy. I have already installed that, so let me just show you that. Node-v, if you give, so the version is this, node then npm-v. So npm version also is high from this. Okay, it's 6, it's here is 5. So now let's copy this, paste, and now from my app to React Funda app. Okay, let's hit enter, and our project started creating. So let's come here and see that. So guys, it's executing and creating the project. So guys, let's wait for a few minutes to complete this installation. So guys, our React application is installed successfully over here, and now let's run this app. So let's close this terminal. Let's move inside this app and open with the git bash or your command prompt, and move to your doc. So let's copy this, npm start, hit enter. So it will automatically start. Okay, so it's automatically opened. We should not type, it will automatically start the development server. Perfect. So let me minimize this. We have successfully done installation of your React and your Laravel application. Now guys, let us get started with creating a CRUD application. So first let's move to our folder. So first let us open our React Funda app. So open with code. Okay, so now let us try to access this design. Let's get back, go to src app.js file. So this is the output, guys, we are getting over here. So let's live like this, and first let us create one folder called pages. Let's create one pages, 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 and one simple file name student.js, one more file called add student.js. Now let us use Bootstrap. So we are going to import that link directly in our index.html file. So just move to our public folder and index.html. Okay, so let's go over here, move to getbootstrap.com. Let's close all this. Doc, copy the CSS link. Okay, so we'll copy directly, copy and paste after the title. Remove this thing, we don't require it. All set. And the script, so this bundle script will copy and paste. We don't require this cross origin and integrity. Done, guys. So let's save this, close this index.html, and let's move to this student.js file. Now let's create a class first. So first you have to import the class. So let's import React and open curly brace, call the component also from single quote React, and then create a class called student extend component. So this component you are going to extend. Copy this and paste. Let export default student. Okay, and now you have to render function, open and close curly brace. Let's use return, and inside this, okay, here we forgot to give comma. Just give comma and start with the div tag. So div, design the class name called container row, called md12, and simple card, class name is equal to card. Copy, this will be a card header, this will be the h4 tag where students data, and one simple link we are going to create. Let's open the link, link, and over here we'll tell add student and link to is equal to open curly braces and close curly, inside single quotes add student. Okay, and design this link name with the class name as button primary, button small, float end. Okay, save, and this is showing error because we have to link that. So that is nothing but your router. So let's open a terminal. npm install react-router-dom. So guys, until it installs, so let's leave that, and over here let's design that. Okay, so after this card body class name card body. Okay, so we need to wait to install this. So before that, let's import the class also. Import link from React router DOM. Okay, so let's just wait to get installed. Perfect, so it has installed, guys. Let us kill this terminal, and if you want to confirm it's installed or not, go to your package.json. You can find that React router DOM. Okay, let's close, and now guys, let's call this file into our app.js file. Let's remove all this. So let's remove this, we don't require. Import React from React. Okay, and then call your router. So before that you need to set that. Okay, import, open curly brace, we need to give browser router. So browser router as we'll tell router, and then we are going to use switch and one route. Okay, from single quote React router DOM. Done. And now guys, you need to call your router first. So which router? This router. Okay, so this router, you need to call that router and then switch, and after the switch you need to use this route. Let's use that route, close, and over here you can use either in this format or else we'll remove and give just /. Here we are going to tell exact path is equal to double quotes /home, and then component is equal to create that student, and let's import the student first. So import student from current directory. I am going to pages folder first. So pages / then your student file. Okay, student.js file. As simple. So we are not going to extend that .js, it will understand very clearly. And let's change this variable as add student, and this will be your add student file name. And now let's copy paste again. Let's remove this exact and mention this as add student, where I'm going to take this and paste. That's it. And now guys, let us test it. So let's move. Perfect. So guys, you can see the output that student data has come. So before this, I just want the spaces on every pages. So let's move to index.html file. So at this root, we are going to give class is equal to, this is not a JS file, so we have to give direct class and use py5. Done. And now guys, let's close this and let's see the output. So perfect. So guys, there is space from top and bottom both. So now let's click on this add button. That time you are moving to add student route, and the page also is called. So which means it's going to this component add student, where this is going to your add student page. So let's move that add student page and let's design this. So before designing, let's copy all the same from your student.js file and paste inside your add.js. Done. And here you are going to change the title as add student. As simple. And let's make this to be a back button, where this path will be called as home button. Done. So link is imported, and you need to change the class name add student. Okay, so copy this and export the default also. Done. And now guys, let's design with the form. Open form and close the form. Div class name, which is form-group margin bottom 3. Okay, and one label where we don't require this for, it will give an error. So this will be the student name. Student name we will tell, and input field type is equal to text name value and give /. Okay, give the class name, design the input form control. Done. So let's see the output guys. Okay, perfect. So everything is cool. Let's make this form as 6. Done. And now we are going to add few more fields, which is 3 fields. We are going to add more: student name, student, course, then email, and then phone. Okay, give a name for this, which will be the name, course, and then email, and final one phone. So after this, guys, we need one simple button. Let's create a button, button button. That type will be as submit. Design this button with the class name called btn primary, and save student. Done. And now, guys, let us get this form action. When you click on the submit button, first we are going to work with input fields. So let's call that input field over here. So we will call on change is equal to open and close curly brace. This dot, we are going to handle all the input fields. So handle this dot, handle input. So same thing you're going to call for every field. Let's paste, 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 paste. And now whatever you're going to take from this input field, you have to show in this value also. So let's open and close curly brace, and this dot state dot name. Okay, so this state you are going to create first, and this is the name value. Okay, name. So let's copy this, copy, paste for 3 also, and change as per the input field attribute names, email and phone. Done. Now, guys, let us create this both input and state. Okay, so first we have to take all the value. So let's copy this state and create over here. State is equal to open and close curly brace, so that we are going to assign the name field, single quotes, give, so 4 times. Next will be the course, then your email, and the final one, phone. So let's copy this phone. All set. So after this, you are going to call your handle input. So copy this handle input, paste, is equal to. So before this, before handling input, you have to check with the event. So event of your, and now you have to call this dot set state function. Okay, so this will set state, means all this fields value it will set. Open and close curly brace, and inside square bracket e dot target dot name. So all the input fields value you are going to take e dot event dot target dot value, and this means it will go to your input box, and this input box, the name value it will take and the values value it will take. Okay, so this values, so these both are working and setting on this variable. So after setting, we have to submit on this button, then it will go to form. Okay, so let's use on submit is equal to open and close curly brace, where you're going to tell this dot save student. So copy this save student function name and create over here. Save student is equal to event of your function. Okay, so this is we have created, and now, guys, let's call the API to store that. So before we are submitting, we need to give event dot prevent default. So prevent default function, and now we are going to use Axios to send that data. Okay, so for that, guys, let's install that Axios first. Terminal. So let's give npm install Axios, hit enter. So guys, let's wait until it get installed. So guys, our Axios is installed successfully. So let's just check it out. From our package.json file, you can find that Axios installed now. So let's use this guys to save our data. So first let's create a variable called variable of response is equal to where I'm going to use Axios. Hit enter. So when you directly the class will be imported at the top. So let me just cut and paste below. So this is the you have to import when you use Axios. So guys, we are going to use async also, because when the response comes, until unless the response comes, you should not execute the next line, whatever you give over here. So for that, you need to give async and await. Okay. So await Axios dot post function. So over here, you are going to create that path. So /API /add -student, give comma and this dot state. So what state? This state. Whatever you're taking, all that values you have to store. When you send the request, it will go over there. So guys, for this you need to create the API. Okay. So guys, let's get started. So the error is this: it's declared but never used. So it's a warning. So let's ignore that and let's move to our Laravel application. So let's get back to our Laravel API. So it's a fresh application. Let's open with code. Okay, full size. So guys, first let's get to our database over here. Copy this, Control C, and get back to your Laravel app. Go to your env file and change the database name first. Save and let's close guys. So database connected, and now first let's move to our app provider, app service provider. Over here you can see boot function. So inside this boot function, return schema : default string length function, where 191 you are going to set, and import the class. Perfect. Now let's save. Okay, let's remove this. We don't require return that because it's just setting that. We don't need to use return. Let's close this guys. And now let's create a student. So we are using where you can see add student, right? So these fields we are going to create. Let's get back. Open your terminal. So type the command to generate the model, migration, and the controller. So first let's create a model. So PHP artisan make : model, where I am going to create a student. Okay, hit enter. Model created successfully. Let's go to app model student.php file is created. And now guys, over here we are going to use protected $table is equal to, over here you need to assign the table. So we'll create a students table. Okay, so let's save this. And what are the fields we are going to create? $fillable is equal, over here we are going to tell name and then course, email, and the phone. Done. So guys, these are the 4 fields. So let's create a table for this first. PHP artisan make : migration, where create underscore students. Now this table name students underscore table. Okay, hit enter. Created migration. So let's go inside our database, migration, and this is a students table. Perfect. So let's copy this students and you have to paste just over here inside your model. Done. And let's create all the fields. $table of, where I'm going to use string function because we are using the name. Okay, and same with the course, email, and phone. Done. Save guys, and let's close this file. Perfect. So now let's create a controller. PHP artisan make : controller name. So I want one inside the API folder. So let's create API folder / the controller name called student controller. Hit enter. Controller created successfully. Okay, so let's move app http controller API folder. Inside that API folder we have a student controller. So if now let's create a function, public function, and the function name will be store. Okay, so whatever data we send over here, it should store. So before that, create a variable called student is equal to call your model called student. So which model you're going to call? Model. So you need to import the class. So this is the class, guys. So this model is nothing but your this just created model. Okay, done. Semicolon. Before that you have to assign with the object called new. So this is your object, and now guys you are going to call all the fields. So before all the fields means this input fields: name, course, email, and phone. Okay, so that name is equal to whatever request you are getting. So from anywhere, if you get from Postman or your React, because we are going to get from this React. Okay, so for this all the things we call as request only. So for the request you need to give request $request. This request copy and paste over here of your input field. Okay, so whatever input field we are going to create, we will create the same. Let's make this course, and this is your input field course. This will be your email, database column name, and this is input column name, and final phone. Copy and paste this phone also. Done. And after this, guys, you need to save the data. So once it's saved, you need to send the response. So let's type return response function in JSON format. Okay, JSON in array format. You are going to send status, that is 200, and the message you are going to share, send message message. Okay, we should not give comma, we have to give like this. Over here, student added successfully. So before saving this, you need to migrate this table, right? So which table you have created, the student table. So let's migrate that table, php artisan migrate. Okay, hit enter. So you can see all the tables inserted. With that, our students table also is inserted. Let's go to our database first, refresh. So you can see that students table is created over here. You can see all the fields. Perfect, guys. So all set from our Laravel. So now we need to route this. So let's move to a route. Before that, kill this terminal. Let's go to our routes, api.php. Move over here, and now let's create a API. Let me just remove all this, we don't require. Route : post method, because we are going to send the data. Okay, so this will be a URL. So what URL you have created in your ReactJS, you can see that API/add student. So we are going to take this add student. API will be default. So let's take this add student and send over here, / give comma, and call your controller. So student controller : class at your which function? Store function. Done. So import the class of this. It's already imported over here, guys. So this is the class imported, and this store function should be created in your student controller, which we already created it. Cool. So now let's get back to this API, and now guys, when you access this, it should work. So let's start the project of your Laravel. So this Laravel API project is already started, guys. Let us see the output. Okay, it's running over here, and yep, let's go back to our over here. So you need to send that path. Let's copy this path, get back, paste, all set. So you can send in this method, or else you can define at your app.js directly. So let's send now. And now guys, let's write a if condition. If this res, okay. So response dot data. So this data is pre-default, and whatever the data you are going to get, so this data, inside this data status is triple equal to 200. So this status is nothing but your inside your Laravel you have sent that from your student controller. So this status, okay. Let's get back. And now once it is success, if it is 200 means, let's show the message called with the log function, log, where the response dot data dot message. So this message is your from your controller, okay. So copy this message variable and paste over here. Done. So after the success of this adding student, we are going to show that, and I want to empty the input box. So for that you need to tell this dot set state, okay. Set state function, open and close curly brace, and now inside this let's copy this all the input fields. Just copy and make it empty. Done. So once it's saved, it will empty the input box. So now let's test guys. Refresh. Perfect. So let's go to over here, add student, everything working fine. Let's add with student name with Prakash, BCA with at gmail.com. So phone number, some random digit number, save student. Okay, so guys, it has saved and the box is empty. So let us see the console log over here. So first let us open the console, inspect. You can see that student added successfully, the output has come. And let's see the database guys. Let's go browse. Boom. So you can see guys, the data is added. Let's get back and add one more data. Let's refresh now. And Prakash BCA at gmail.com, student name, phone number. Let's save data. You can see student added successfully message has come, and let's browse this. Cool. So guys, we have successfully completed with the React and Laravel API how to insert the data into our database. So guys, let's see how to fetch the data from our database in ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, now let's get started. So first let's move to our React app and create one simple table design. So let's get back to our React application, and we should move on student.js file. Perfect. And yep guys, so let's design the table over here first. So table, where the table class name is equal to table bordered, table striped. Done. And table head, table row, table heading, ID, and then your student name, student course, student email ID, and the phone. And simple guys, finally one edit button and one for delete button. Done. And then your table body, tbody, and inside this you will be doing your table row datas. So guys, now let's see the output first. Control S and check the output. Perfect. So guys, we have got this, and yes guys, let's get started with the API call. So first let's go in this class. Inside this class, call your component did mount. So let's call the component did mount function, open and close curly brace, and whenever you load the page, I mean this page is, whenever this page is loaded, that time this function will be automatically called. Okay, we are going to use Axios in this and get the data. So for that guys, let's create one variable called response. So using const response is equal to your Axios. So Axios, Axios, import the class guys, So let's import that over here. You can see, just import this fcos.get function, and inside this get function you are going to get all the data. API give first / API dot students. Okay, so this will be our URL, and after this, whenever you run this, that time you should execute. So before executing, you need to check await also, because it will give an error when you don't wait for that. So let's use await. So when you use await, you need to use async also, ASYNC. So now guys, let's first go and create the API and the code to fetch the data. So let's move to our Laravel application. Perfect. So first let's move to our API.php. Inside routes, let's create the route / get function. Call the route name what you have created over here. API is default, just call this student. So this students and your controller name. So let's copy the same controller which we used to store the data. So let's tell this as index. So let's copy this index, go to your student controller and create the function with the name index. So public function and the function name index. So let's create a variable called students is equal to your model name student. So / all, where we are going to return. So let me just copy from here and paste. So if it is success, means everything is going to be 200, and take this data and send it over here and make this message as students. Okay, so same variable we are going to access there. Done. And now guys, let's move back. So this API will call perfectly and it will respond. So let's move to our React app. So now your data has come guys. So once it is coming, that time we are going to check with the if condition. If this response.data. So before checking this response.data, I'll just show you some output in our console log. So use log function to check res. Okay, so this res we are sending over here. Now let's get back, inspect, move to console. So okay, we didn't give the path, so let's copy the path first, copy and give the correct path, 8000 / API / your students data. Okay, now everything will be working fine. Refresh. So you can see that the data has come. So whatever the response dot this data, so this data dot student, so this is the status we sent 200 and the students which we shared over here. So inside that students we have two data. So these data are coming from your database which we have stored in previous video. So these two data fetched over here. So guys, now let us get this data into our table. So let's get back to our here. Let's comment this for the reference and let's open this if else condition, and over here you need to check that status triple equal to 200. If it is 200 means then you have to come here and this dot set state function, open and close, create a student variable. So students colon whatever the response you're getting, response dot data dot students. So this students is coming from your controller. Okay, so this student you are calling that. Done. And one loading thing we will see guys, loading over here, false, and this when you're setting the state you need to assign that state over here first. State is equal to open and close curly brace, where the student variable you are going to send student of array. Done. And then loading colon true. First you have to initialize this, then in this student where you have to copy this and call over here. Okay, so whatever the data you are storing over here, and this will store all your data, and the loading is true over here and this is false. Done. And now let's move below at this render function. So I don't want to call directly over here. Let's create separate things. So first use if else. Let's create one simple variable. Let's create one variable called student underscore HTML table, whatever. Just create that your null. Okay, and this student variable only we have to check. So before checking this, you need to check with this dot state dot loading. So this dot state dot loading, if it is true means if condition will give you true. So when it is true, that time you have to call this variable and paste over here is equal to, and just create that tr table tag because we are going to assign over here. Okay, so let me just finish with that. Table row and table data, and inside this table data I am going to call h2 tag until loading, and this call pan, okay, is equal to, we are going to give 6 because 3 plus 6 1 7. Okay, so mention that 7. Done. Remove this. Again you are going to copy this and is equal to, now guys we have to loop the data. So what data? Whatever data you are going to present over here. So let's hit enter. This dot state dot your students variable. So that students, copy this students, and we are going to use map function. Okay, so inside this mapping only we are going to create. Done. So give over here item. So whatever the items comes over here, and open close curly brace, and before that you have to pass this. Okay, and inside this function you are going to return open and close function and design your table row. So tr tag table row table data. So table data, first we are going to get the id. So just call this from the students whatever the id is. Open and close curly brace item dot id. So this thing only you are going to paste over here using key is equal to open close curly brace item id. Copy paste. This will be your column name database column fields. Okay, so next is course, and this will be your email, and this will be your phone number. Okay, so these fields, these names are nothing but your database column names. Okay, so this name, course, email, phone. Done. Let's get back, and now a simple td tag to display the edit and delete button. So to paste a tag we have to use link in React. So link, open and close link, give this edit to is equal to open and close curly brace, where, so before giving URL, let's call the class and design the button. Class name, where button hyphen success button hyphen small. Done. And over here above the tab button, below the escape button, that symbol you have to give. Okay, so edit student / use dollar and open curly brace and close curly brace and the id over here. Okay, so that id is nothing but your dot item of id. Done. So this dollar item of your column field primary key id, and then finally one td tag with the delete button, button button, where type is equal to, we will give button only, and copy the class, copy paste, and this button name will be delete. Danger. Save guys, and now let's take this variable and paste inside this tbody tag. Okay, all set. So save it, and now guys let's check it. Refresh. Perfect. So once it's loading, and after that it's showing. So why it's loading guys? Because we are checking that right over here inside this if condition. If that state is until and unless it loads, it will show false. When it is false, it will show your data output. Okay, so guys we have successfully fetched the data, and let's add one more data over here as Varun bca varun@gmail.com, some random digit phone number, add student. Okay, data added. Let's go back and see where you can see that data has come. So guys, we have successfully seen how to view the data in ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, let's see how to edit and update data in ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, as we saw, we have added the student and fetched the data of the students in ReactJS with Laravel API. So guys, now we are going to edit and update the data using our Laravel API in ReactJS. So guys, let's get started. So first, let's move to this /home page over here, and yep guys, let's move to our React, and as you can see in app.js, so on this route called home page, we are at the student model. Okay, so let's go to this student.js file. Okay, so it's at my student.js, and this is our table guys, where this edit button is given. Perfect. And now to call that URL, we have created over edit student with the / the item of ID. So which item? This is nothing but your student's data. So student item or row, you can call anything. So I have called as item of ID. So now let us see this output guys first. Let's get back, refresh, and let's click on this ID number 2, edit. You can see that with the URL edit student /2. So guys, now let's create a page for this URL. Let's move. So let's copy this URL and go to our app.js file and create one route for this. Route path is equal to, in double quotes, / and then post your edit student / then you have to call the ID. So :ID. So this will be the URL calling. This ID is nothing but your this whatever ID you have shared in here. Okay, and then call your component. So component is equal to, open and close curly brace, edit student. So edit student you are going to create. Let's import that. Import edit student from the page, from the pages /edit student you are going to create. Okay, so let's copy this name and go inside the pages and create a file with the edit student.js. So now over here it's created. So guys, let's take the same form. Let's go back, refresh. Okay, so I want this add form. So same form, we need the things. So this input fields only, whatever the details. To edit this, you need the add form only. So let's copy that add form. So add students form, I'm going to copy everything, Control AC, copy, and go to your edit student and paste. And now let's change guys few things. So first, change your class name. Let's make it to edit student. Copy this and export default as edit student. Done. And then second, we are going to render function. So move to your render function over here. Instead of add student, give edit student, and the link we are going to keep the same, not changing anything. And then on submit, you are going to give update student. Okay, so make this update student, and whatever the handle input, let me just minimize this sidebar. Let's make this handle input same thing you are going to keep, no changes, and whatever the value is there, you have to keep same thing. Done. And this button from save to update student, same thing. That's it. So no changes guys, only one change in your form, that update student. And let's go above and change over here. Okay, so this update student, and whatever the things are there, we will just change according to it. So first, this handle input. Okay, this dot handle input, whatever the function is calling, it's over here. So it will set all the input fields, target name, and the value of that input. It will set inside this state. Okay, and once it is set, then you're going to send the update function to update the data. So before updating the data, you need to check with, let's comment this right now. We need to get the data. So before that, let's see the output first. Let's click on this ID number 2, edit. So you can find the form edit students. We require the data of this ID number 2, whatever the data we have to print in this input box. So for that, let's get started. So let's create a function, use async component did mount function, open and close curly brace. So guys, now let us get the ID first. So what ID you are going to get? This ID. So let us inspect and try to get this ID first. So let's move on the console. Let's go back over here. Let's create one variable called ID is equal to, you can create student underscore ID, and this will be this dot props dot match dot your parameter param, that is params dot ID. So this ID is nothing but you are getting from your URL. So which URL? From your route. So this ID you are going to call that. Okay, so once you call this over here, let's give semicolon and let us just log this, console log, and check the output. Log student ID, paste. Okay, so let's get back, refresh. You can see that ID has come automatically. Whatever ID we send that from here, let's click on 3. You can see that third ID has come. Perfect. So guys, now with this help of this ID, you are going to get the data from your database. So let's create the Axios. So first let's create one variable called resres is equal to await of your Axios. Axios dot get method you are going to use backtick, so that is below escape button. Okay, it's not a single code, it's a backtick. So over here, and now you have to give /API /edit -student ID. So dollar open close curly braces, and then your student ID you have to pass inside this. Done. So now guys, you need to execute this API. So before executing, let's go to a Laravel. Let's move. Okay, so let's get back to API, and now guys, let's create a route ::get function where we are going to create /edit -student. So make sure you're copying the correct path, edit student. This leave this API because it's a default thing. We have to give copy this edit student with the ID. So edit students / with the ID you're passing. Okay, and you're going to a controller. So let's copy the same controller which we are using at the top, paste, and make this to edit. So guys, let's copy this and go to your student controller and create a edit function name. So public function and the function name edit function. Now create a variable called students or student is equal to your model : find function. So what you're passing from your parameter, this ID, right? So copy this ID and send into your edit function, and from this ID you're going to get find with this. Okay, so once the specific ID is found, then you have to send that into your response. So return response in a JSON format. Okay, so let's use the status is equal to 200, and then the variable called student and your $student. Okay, so this student you are going to pass over here, as simple. So guys, now everything is working fine. Then copy this, your same edit URL, and paste over here. So guys, now it will be working. So before that, you need to call the correct path. So let's copy the Laravel and paste over here. Done. So now it will call the correct path, and then it will fetch the data. So now guys, we need to check that if this response is success or not. So if use the if condition, so response dot data dot your status. So from where this status is coming, that is from your controller. So this status you have shared, right? Status, so that status you are getting over here, where triple equal to 200, whatever that matches, then you have to share that. So in this you have to set the values. So whatever the values you are getting in this, let's this dot set state function, okay, and then you are going to call all the fields. So what are the fields you are going to paste? So I'll just show you. So these are the name, course, email and phone, right? So these fields you have to call over here inside this. So that is already assigned at the top. Let's copy that, replace, paste, and then use the same method to call your student data also. So let's call that student, okay. So why student? You are taking from here, okay. So this response student, so that student you are going to call over here dot name, okay. So this name is nothing but your database column field. So I'll just show you database name, course, email and phone. So these 4 fields you have to call. So let's copy this and paste, Control D, paste, and change the column fields name, email. So let's make this as phone. Done guys, and now all the data will be printed. So let us see the output guys first. Save, let's move to our React, refresh. So before refreshing, the data has come. Cool. So let's close this. You can see guys, data has come as per the ID. So let's move to this first, that is Ved Prakash at this ID number 1. Let's edit. You can see that Ved Prakash bca ved@gmail.com, his phone number. Perfect. So guys, now let us update the data. So let's get back to our React and let's move to this function. So once you click on this update button, it's going to form on submit $this update student. So this update student will take all your input and values field names, okay. So then here you are coming back, and now guys over here let's uncomment this and change the path. So first you are going to create this variable called response that await, which if you use await you have to use async, okay. And then you are going to update with the put method, okay. So we'll use put method and the path will be update student, okay. So this is the path where you are going to send the data with the ID. So let's cut this, Control X, remove this single quote. You have to backtick, okay. So use backtick and paste the path, / and send the ID, $open and close curly brace. How you are going to send the ID inside this? So student ID. So from where are you getting this? You need to, as you got over here to fetch the record, so same thing you are going to copy and paste over here. Done. So when you update, you are going to get that ID from your parameter, I mean this URL, okay. So you are going to get from here and back to, you will send over here and then this dot state. So whatever the value is there inside your input box, which is assigned over here, and then you will send the response. So once the response is 200, you will tell whatever the message comes over here, okay. So message, we will check that as updated. So we have to write the code. So once it is success, you are going to empty the text box. So let's save, and now guys let's copy this path and move to our Laravel. So let's first create an API. We are going to update using put method. So route of put method, where for single quotes update of with the ID, and we are going to copy the same controller, student controller, and create a function called update. So let's copy this, go to the student controller and create a function named update. So public function and the function name update function, where you are going to now update the data. So guys, same code as we stored there, okay. So let's copy this full to store the data we have copied, right. So same thing you are going to check over here. So first let's accept all the request $request and the ID. So you are getting the ID right from your update student, you're getting this ID. Copy that ID and pass from your update function. So this, we are going to use this ID and send into this model. So let's remove this new keyword and use this find of ID, $ID. So with this help of ID, we are going to find from the student model and then update all the data using update function. Okay, so this input fields, and now guys, once you response is success, you are going to send 200 and updated successfully. Set. And yep guys, everything set over here. Now let's get back to our React over here, all set, and let us update guys. So get back, refresh, let's inspect to see the message. Let's move on console. Now guys, from BCA2 I'm going to add, and this phone number 2 I'm going to update with 555. Let's click on update. So response you saw, student updated successfully, and it's empty. So I don't want this to be empty. Let's get back, just remove this. Done. Wapas, refresh. Okay, so you can see guys, the data is updated perfectly. Let's update to with n. Okay, let's click on update. So updated successfully, perfect guys. So I need to change this button as it's updating, because we cannot know it's getting updated or not. So when you click on this BCA B update student, we cannot know what is going on over here. So for that, you need to just add one simple thing, document dot get element by ID function dot inner text is equal to, where you're going to tell updating. Okay, so what you're going to take over here, single quote update button. So let's copy this name update button and paste over here, ID is equal to update button. Okay, so once it's clicked on updating, then after the success message, you can tell again the same message what you have passed over here, update student. Copy this and paste back. That's it. Okay, so refresh, all set. Let's change this with Prakash. Update, updating it's written, and again after updating it's moved to same thing. Okay, update student. So guys, if you want one more option like copy and paste and make this to disabled is equal to true true. Okay, so after disabling you want to make it false, again enable that. Done. Let me just show what is the difference now. Refresh, data came with Prakash n. I'm going to updating, see it's hidden, right? Perfect. So we have updated with the with Prakash and make it to BCA updated. Get back, you can see with Prakash n and it's BCA. Let's try to update from this Varun to Varun Govind. So Varun Govind update student. Cool. So let's get back, you can see Varun Govind. So guys, we have successfully completed how to edit the data and update the data in our ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, how to delete the data from our database in ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, let's get started. So first, as we can see that localhost 3000, where at home page we have to go to this and move to this delete button. So let's go to our React app. Let me, okay. So guys, this is our student page where all the tables are appended. Okay, so this is the table where this variable is called student HTML variable, and over here our table row is designed with the delete button. As simple guys. And now let's start to delete the data. So first we are going to use onClick function. So onClick is equal to open and close curly brace, where we are going to check with the event of this dot delete student function, okay, where I am going to send this event $e, and then with this only, with this function, I am going to send the ID also. As you can see, this key item of ID, so whatever you have stored in our database, like, so this ID. So let's get back, send that item of our dot ID, done. And now let's copy this delete function and move over here. Let's create after this did component. Let's paste delete student is equal to where event with the ID you're getting of your open and close curly brace, and then guys route guys. So before calling, let's create one variable called constant variable is equal to response axios dot delete function I'm going to use. Okay, so let's use backtick. So below the escape button, just click that backtick code /API /delete -student / with the ID. So $open and close curly brace, that ID which we are getting from here. So let's copy this ID and send in this, done. So once it's sent, then you have to call this API, right? So guys, let's create this API first. So let's copy this. API is default, just leave that. Copy this delete student and go to our Laravel, and now we are under routes API.php, route delete method, because we have created the delete method over there. Okay, so just don't forget this delete method is called over here, and we are sending that with the ID. So direct open curly and close $ID, and let's call the controller. So we are going to copy from top the same controller at destroy. So let's copy this destroy and go to a student controller and create that destroy function. So public function where function destroy, oops, make this public. I say public function, and now guys we are going to delete that. So from student variable is equal to find your model, student model : find function, and inside this you are going to paste the $ID. So from where you are getting, from this destroy function. Okay, so this destroy function is coming from your this ID. Okay, so this ID is sent on this function, and then it's deleting the data. So after deleting the data, we need to send the response. So before, let's delete the data first, and now let's send the response. So let's copy the same thing, copy and paste. So once it's deleted, it will go to 200 and deleted successfully, done. And wapas, let's move to API.php, all set. Let's go to our React app, and now guys this should work. So before calling this URL, you have to call the correct path. So that is localhost :8000. Okay, so paste here, remove, perfect. So guys, now let us check in the if condition. If this is success, means it should show, else it should not show. So if it's success, then you have to check with this. So guys, once it executes this, we are going to face error, because when we get the response, until that this code will execute off. So guys, for that we need to use await. Okay, so if you are using await, you have to use async also, async, async, done. And then only a response can come. $data.status == 200. So if it's success, then you're going to let's use the log to print the message called response.data.message. So this message you're getting from your controller. Let me just show. So this message, copy this and paste, done. So guys, now once it's deleted, you should show that it is deleted. But when we click, like I mean to say, when I click this delete button, this data should get removed. Okay, we should not load this page. So for that you need to use some different. So first let's create one constant variable of this clicked Funda. So let's keep a unique variable where event dot current target. Okay, so this event dot current target, and with this help of variable dot, we are going to get we'll first fix that inner text is equal to, tell this as deleting. So when you click on this delete button, it's loading. Okay, refresh. When you click on this delete button, it should show deleting, and then it should remove this data. So for that, now we have set this deleting, and after this let's copy this. Once it's deleted, that time you need to remove the data. So this current dot closest function with the remove function. Okay, so what closest you are going to remove, that is your table row. So let me just show that. So whatever you have appended, right, so that table row tr, so this tr you have to call over here. That's it. So once it's clicked, it will remove that data. After deleting the data only, you are going to remove that row. Okay, save, and yep guys, so let's test it. Let's refresh, open the inspect, let's go to console log. So let me just add with dummy data, dummy at gmail.com. So let's add save student added successfully. Let's go back. You can see that it's added, and now let's click to delete. So click on delete. Student deleted successfully. You can see that data is deleted, guys. Let's refresh once again. So you can see that data has been deleted. So let's add few more details. Let's save student, saved. Let's add another data, save, done. Go back, refresh. So there is no message over here, and now let's try to delete this fifth data. So before that, let me just show you in the output of your database. So guys, we have total 6 records over here, I mean till 6 ID. Let's delete this ID number 5 first. Let's get back. We are clicking on delete, deleting, and it's deleted. Okay, so let's see now DB, browse once again. You can see that data is deleted. So guys, we have successfully completed with how to delete the data. So we have successfully completed with how to delete that data in ReactJS using Laravel API. So guys, let's see how to show a success message using Sweet Alert. So guys, we are on the React now. So localhost :3000, and yep guys, so let's move to our Sweet Alert. So hit enter, and yep guys, so let's move to this Sweet Alert website. You click on guide and you will be on this installation. So to install in React, we can use this npm install Sweet Alert, copy that and move to our React app, guys. So now let's on a terminal and install this Sweet Alert. So let's paste, Ctrl V, hit enter. So guys, let's wait until it get installed. So guys, our Sweet Alert is installed successfully. So let's move to our package.json file, and over here you can find that Sweet Alert is installed. So let's kill this terminal and close the file. So now we are going to use this Sweet Alert to show the success message. So for that, like when you go to add, after adding the record, I want to show a success message. So guys, let's move to this file with the route that. Okay, so in your app.js file, we have set the route. If you don't understand how this has been set up, please watch out the videos of this ReactJS CRUD in Laravel API, link in the description. So guys, now let's move to this add route where component is add student. So over here, as you can see, it's called there. So inside this pages, you need to go to add student.js file. Perfect. So when you click on this submit button, you're going to save student function. So let's get back to the save student over here, guys. So once you save the data, at that time you're getting the response where you can see this, the status is 200 means success. So after success, you are showing the message in console log. So now instead of this, we want to show the message in sweet alert. So for that, first let's get back to our doc, and here is the method, guys. You need to import the class. So let's copy this, get back and move at the top of the page and paste. Let's remove this CDN. Done, guys. So with the help of this file, we are going to call all the function. So let's get back to the doc again, and getting started, you can get this preview. Okay, so but I don't want this, I need this way. Okay, let's click, you can see this message. Perfect. So let's copy this and paste, set, and the message we were getting, that message you are going to copy and paste inside the text. Paste here, and instead of good job, mention success, and yeah, something means it will give okay, and this will be the success icon. Done. Save, guys, and now let's see. So let's refresh and let's add the data. Kalesh bcom kalesh at gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and let's save student. Save. You can see success, student added successfully, the message which we have printed from our Laravel controller. Okay, and let's give okay. Perfect. So guys, this is how we show sweet alert message. And now let's get back to this edit also and give the success message over there to show. So let's edit. Data has come. When you click on update, the data should get updated. Okay, so for that also let's print the message. Let's get back to React. So we just need to copy the class, import this class, copy. Let's go to our edit.js. At the top of the page, import the sweet alert class, and same code we are going to copy to show the message. So let's get back. So this is the update function, I mean this form. When we submit this form, that time you're going over here and updating the data. So while updating, when you are success, then you are showing the alert message over here. So this is we showed in a console log, right? So let's show in a sweet alert. As simple, the same data message you are going to show, and instead of success, you can tell updated. Okay, and it's successfully updating, right? So let's keep the success icon only. So let's save. Let's get back, refresh, and now let's change from BCA to MCA, and phone number, let's update. Cool, updated, student updated successfully. Let's give okay. So now let's get back, and for the deleting part, so when you click on delete, that time what happens, we have to delete this data and show the success message for that also. So let's get on this direct home on the root. So let's get back on the app.js, see the path called this slash, and which is calling the student component. So inside my pages, I have a student.js file where this is my delete button. Okay, let me just show that. So this is the delete button. So when you click on this, it's going to delete function. So let's move. We are over here, and once it is success means you are going to show the message. So for that, you are showing in a console log. Let's show in a sweet alert. So let me just copy from there, copy the sweet alert, and import the class of that swal. Let's import that SWAL. Let's move at the top, paste. Perfect. So this is my sweet alert class. Done. And yep, guys, over here let's show as title deleted, and this success will be, once it is deleted means it should show success only. Okay, let's get back, refresh, delete. So deleted, student deleted successfully. Okay, so that delete data is not there. Let's delete this college also. Click on delete, deleting, and it's deleted. So student deleted successfully. Okay, so guys, we have learned how to integrate our Suite alert into a ReactJS application. So guys, let's see how to do the validation. So full CRUD application in ReactJS with Laravel API, we are going to do validation. So we'll be doing about validation, about adding the forms and editing the forms. So while editing it, and if the ID is wrong, so that validation and the delete ID. Okay, so now let's get started with add student. So when I click save student, it should validate, it should be required, and it should show the message as this field is required, or phone number, email validation, all things. So guys, let's get started. So first let's move to our application ReactJS. So let's go over here. So we are on the add student page. So let's move to that component, route of path add student, where we are going to this add student component. In the pages folder, add student.js, pages folder, add student.js. Done. So yeah guys, so when we click on this submit button, that time we are going to student function, where you are moving to this function and going to save the data using this Laravel API route. Okay, so let's go to this and do the validation over there and get the response according to that. So now let's move to our Laravel application. So guys, here is our route, add student, where we are posting the data using post method. Okay, add student, we are going at the student controller at store function. So let's move to the student controller, which we have created over here, and at store function. So this was the function to store the data, guys. So now before storing, you need to validate all the fields. So let's begin with that. First, create a variable called validator. Validator is equal to, where validator scope resolution of make open and close function. And now guys, over here you need to start with the $request of all input fields, where you are going to get in this array. Okay, let's make this over here, and now call here all the input fields name, like paste the name. So this name is nothing but your input field request, so this name will be there. After this, you are going to give the validation, which I want to be required, and we'll give max length :191, copy and paste. Next is course, so I'll paste the same validation. Next is email, so you are going to paste email and mention the email also over here. Done. And then phone number, so let's copy this and make phone over here required, and we'll tell this as max 10 number and minimum also 10 number. Okay, so instead of this email, we have to put numeric. Done. So now guys, let's check this is in a if condition. After this, give if $validator fails, fails fails function, then you need to give else. If it fails, then you are going over here, else you are saving the data. So let's make little front and close the else condition. Done. And to return the message, we are going to copy this and paste back, and let's remove this and make one unique variable called validate_error, and over here you are going to paste all the validator message. So let's copy this validator of messages. Okay, so it's messages, not message. So guys, now let us test this. So before testing, let's go. So guys, now let's get back to React app by taking this variable validate error. So let's go. So guys, once this is success, the response is correct, it will tell 200. If there is some error, then you're going to move to else condition. So let's go in the else condition and print this. So first you're going to state the variable for error list. So let's define that. This dot set state, open and close bracket and curly braces. Then you're going to create one variable called error list colon whatever the response you're getting. So response dot data dot the error list you are getting. So let me just show that. This validate underscore err. Okay, so that value you are getting, and then sending this in array format. Okay, so we'll copy and create one array over here inside your state. Let's paste colon with array. Done. So now with this help of what are the details or error message you are getting, let's show that in our below the input of HTML. So let's use span tag to show the message. Design the class using bootstrap classes text danger and open and close curly brace, paste it over here. So list dot your input field name. So that input field name is nothing but this value. So name, copy this. So before this you are getting from state, right? We need to initialize that this state dot error underscore list dot then your name. Okay, so same we are going to copy and paste for the course also. So let's mention that course, and the next field is email and then the phone. Let's paste, copy and paste the phone. Done. So guys, now let us test. So once you click on the submit button, you will go to save student, and over there if there is some error, then it will come back to this. That's it. So now let's go. Okay, refresh, and now let us click on this save button. Before that, let's inspect on your developer tool, go to console. So if any error comes, we can see over here. So let's save student. Okay, so this set state, okay, we have missed one spelling mistake. Remove this set to set state. Okay, give correct spelling, refresh, and yep guys, so now let's click on save student. You can see that input, the name field is required, the course field is required, email and phone. So let's add one input field called Ved, and let's save student. You can see that the Ved is there and that error has gone and the left out things are available. So let's add that BCA, so Ved at gmail.com. Let's make some error in this and add some random digit phone number, save. You can see these two error has gone and email must be valid email address. So let's give this at gmail.com, and this should be must be greater than 10 digit. Okay, let's save student. Still it's showing the error. So let's go back to a Laravel and let me just remove this numeric. And now guys, let us try get back to Google Chrome, and now let us save the student guys. Let's click on save. Perfect. So student added successfully. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, that message was not refreshed because the page didn't load, right? Or I'll just refresh the page. So once it's added, you can move back to your home page. Okay, so for that guys, you can just add one simple code into your React. So let's add that. After this, I want to go to home page. This dot props dot history dot push function, where after inserting the data, I want to go to home page. Okay, let's save, and yep guys, add student Vijay BCA Vijay at gmail.com, and the phone number I'm going to give wrong. Save student. You can see must be at least 10 characters. So let's give 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now let's save the student. You can see successfully added your redirect to home page. Perfect. So let's save and let's close. You can see that guys, data has come over here with the validation. So now let's move on to edit the validation. Okay, let's click on over here, and yep guys, so let me just show you one thing. So ID number 10 is last, right? Let's click. So ID number data you have got. Now let's try to give over here 12. What in case of 12? When you try to validate that, so you get error. So for that also you need to do some validation. So get back to your Laravel doc and move at the edit function. So before, how are you getting to understand this is edit function? So you need to go to your React app, go to your app.js file, at the route where you can find this URL, edit student with the ID. So edit student with the ID at this component, edit student. So let's move there, edit student.js. So when you load the page, that time this URL calls with the ID. Okay, so edit student / ID, and then you get the response over here. Okay, so after this, if this is success, then you are getting that details if ID is wrong. So at that time what you will do, use else statement and paste this over here, space, and make this to 404, which means something is not found. So let's create this status with 404. So let's get back and just go to your API. You can find this edit student API, right? So you are getting from here. So edit student, that path I'm calling over here, edit student with the ID, going to the controller, add edit function. So this is how we are coming to this edit function. Now guys, let us use if condition. If student, if it is true, then you will get your data, else you are going to say it's 404 error, where the message you are going to show no student ID found. As simple. So let's save, and when the response goes back to your React app over here, you will check with the response of your data with status 404. As simple. So once 404 comes over here, that time you are going to push back and show the message. So let us copy some code to show the message. So let's copy this sweet alert message. If you want to understand how this sweet alert is working, please watch out the previous video, link in the description. Let's save. So this is to show the message, and over here we will tell if it is like warning, and the message you will get that no student found. Okay, and give this as warning. The icon will be warning, and after this showing the message, I want to go back to home page. So this dot props dot history dot push function, where after this want to go on home page. As simple. Close, and yep guys, now let's try to hit enter. You can see warning, the message did not come. Let's see why. From your controller, let's send this message not student. So make this message and call that message over here. Okay, done. Let's refresh again. Now edit with this ID 9, and let's add some ID number 50. Hit enter. When you try to access the ID 50, you can see no student ID found. Okay, done. And now let's get back to edit. And same way guys, when you don't have any data, that time you have to validate. So as we done for the adding of student data, same we are going to update with the edit students. Okay, so let's move top. We need just to copy all the same things and go to your update function, paste. Let's move one step forward and paste. That's it. So the same input fields we are calling, all these fields are same for updating the data. So in case of updating, we have to move on this. On your React file, we are on the edit student. So when you click on this submit button, you go to update student function. Okay, so this is update student. If it is success, then you are coming inside this. What in case of if it is wrong? So at that time you will check else condition, else while updating if the ID is changed. So this ID, right? So this ID is changed over here. So for that case, you are going to copy the same code which you have just for the done for edit. Let's paste. So if status is 404, then you have to show this message warning and push to history. Else, so for this else condition, what about this showing the message? So first let us set this 404. Let's get back. So now you are finding this ID, right? If ID is sent wrong, at that time you are going to use this if else condition, cut one step forward, paste, is else, and the same message you are going to print. So let me just copy from top that no student ID found over here. Done. And now guys, this will be your 404 error. So if something goes wrong, it will come here. If the validation error comes, at that time you will go over here in the else condition. So as we did for add student, we'll copy from there itself. So let's copy this code, state, set state of this, whatever the response that validate error is coming, we need to copy and create one state error list with the array, error list with array. Done. And use this to display your messages in your input fields. So as simple. So same way guys, we are going to use that span tag and design the class text field using class called text danger, open curly, this dot state dot your error list, from there dot your input field names. Okay, so copy paste, this will be the course and this will be your email field, copy paste, this will be your phone. Okay, phone, save. And now guys, let us test, refresh, and now let's submit. You can see updated successfully. Now let's try to edit with other data where we'll take this. So we'll check with this ID number 3. Let's click on update. You can see at least 10 characters, and this is button is disabled. So let me just enable that. Comment it. Yep guys, let's refresh. Okay, now update student must be at least 10 character. Let's give 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now let's update. Perfect, updated successfully. Okay, and we want to go back to the home page after updating that. So this was the message. Once it is success, I want to go back to this dot props dot history dot push function to home page after saving the record. Okay, showing the message, and I want to go back. So let's comment it because we are not using this. And now let's try to update. So guys, I'm going to change this as CSC section and update student. Perfect. So updated and student updated successfully, and back we are over here. Cool. So guys, for this delete also you can validate as same thing. Okay, by checking that ID. So guys, we have successfully completed how to do validation in ReactJS using our Laravel API. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like and share.